Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited and privileged to be hosting yet another episode of the Linda Ogweno Show. In this show, for those of you who are new, this show we train our aspirants on politics and political processes in Kenya and Africa, and we do this hoping that we'll be able to achieve better political governance by having good leaders being elected. This particular show is guided by biblical principles. In addition to that, this show is supported by Women United for Our Future, and I remain and our team remains forever grateful towards their support. And today we want to look at one of the vital things that you should consider if you will be an aspirant, and that is the dressing, grooming, and appearance. They say, and the adage goes, that you should not judge a book by the cover. But unfortunately, that is not the case. When it comes to politics, your image speaks before you do. And voters will form an opinion about you in seconds, long before they even listen to your policies. So you want to look the part so that by the time you are talking, your look and that which you say are matching. So these are some of the things that I have put together that you need to be looking at. So first and foremost, you want to look at your dressing, and the first thing you're going to look at is you're going to look at the different types of dressing and where you'll be campaigning. For example, something like formal suits. Yes, they're important, but they're important for very formal functions. If let's say you're going to have a media interview, something like that, or probably you're going to address a very high profile meeting, let's say of professionals, you can wear that. But if you're going to the grassroots, you want to look a bit more relatable. So you want to wear something maybe sporty if it will be a sporting event, or you want to wear something that let's say like an African dress that people at the grassroots level will be able to relate to. Again, you want to decide what is going to be your signature style, and this takes us back to why you're vying. And before you start your campaigns, just sitting down and strategizing and say, who am I going to be, and what am I going to be known for, and what is going to be unique about you. You find there are candidates who they are like, I know of somebody who's known for a scarf. Every outfit she wears, she always has a scarf. And yes, you find there's also other candidates who are known for a particular hairstyle, and regardless of whatever she wears, she will always have that hairstyle. So she's known for that. So what do you want to be known for? You want to have that meeting with yourself and your team and decide about that. Again, you want to think about the colors. Which colors do you want to be known for? There are neutral colors like blue, gray, that show calmness. There are bold colors like red, orange. So which colors do you want to be known for? Again, you want to avoid having clashing colors, like having so many colors. But which colors do you want to be known for? For the younger generation, they are brighter colors, but decide which one you want to be known for. People in the rural setup may not really appreciate bright colors, but again, be authentic and be yourself. You want to identify with a political party. So for those who will be using that route, political parties have their colors, and you'll find yourself time without number having to attend political party meetings, and so their theme color. So you'll have to have so many outfits in that color. For example, if it's a red a political party whose color is red, then you need to have very many outfits with that have that color theme. Again, the other thing you want to have is a branded team wear for you and your team. When you dress in the same, let's say outfits, let's say t-shirts, let's say reflector, it works to your advantage, and you find it, apart from just giving you marketing, it also works to give you credibility. Again, you want to be culturally sensitive. We're in an African setup, and in African setup, people like women especially, they are expected to wear very long dresses. You find that some places women are not even supposed to make their hair, and some places they're even supposed to tie their hair. So be very, very culturally sensitive where you're going to campaign and dress accordingly. Another thing you want to do is know your audience. Who are you going to be addressing? Are you going to address the young people? Are you going to be addressing the older people? Are you going to be addressing maybe parents in a school? Are you going to be addressing the professionals? So this is going to guide who you're going to meet and what you're going to wear. So put this at the back of your mind and dress accordingly. For example, if you're meeting parents, you may do a sleeveless, but you can't do a sleeveless, for example, if you're meeting maybe the Muslim community. So be very, very sensitive. Again, you want to align your personal presentation with your message. In your campaign, what are you known for? What are you good at? Let me give an example. Maybe you're big with climate change, and you want that to be one of the things that people know you for. Then you want to dress accordingly. So maybe as you're doing an activity, you want to probably have a gumboot, you want to have reflector jackets that have that message going. So what do you want to be known for, and have clothing that matches with that. We want to look at grooming and hair. Yes, grooming and hair. And when it comes to your hair, whether you're a male or you're a female, neat hair communicates discipline. So you want to have your hair very, very neat. Again, you want to be consistent. I mentioned that of a candidate who has a consistent hairstyle, and you want to be very consistent with your hairstyle. For women, avoid very drastic changes. You find that somebody has seen your poster and they've seen you probably in this hairstyle, and then you go there in person and they're looking at you and they're looking at the poster, and it's not matching, and that can give them a hard time. Remember, when they're going to vote, when voters will be going to vote, they may probably forget your name, and usually there is your photo on the ballot and your name against it. So it's very likely that a voter may forget your name, but if they see a photo that they can relate to you, then they will click on that, or they will mark against it. Mostly it's marking. But for the party primaries, some people have introduced the digital gadgets, and there is the tapping onto it. For example, and another example I want to give you is also when you're about being consistent. For example, I wear glasses, and you'll find that maybe I've done a poster where I'm not wearing glasses, and that's my look when I'm not wearing glasses. And then I go campaigning when now I'm wearing glasses. So somebody is confused. Maybe they saw that photo where I'm not wearing, and now I'm wearing. So it just brings that confusion. So just avoid unnecessary confusion and be very consistent. Please remember, for women, where hairstyle is supposed to complement you. It's not supposed to overshadow your image. So do something that is minimal, not something that is extremely out there. When it comes to nails and makeup, it is very important to have your nails done, because you'll find yourself going for very different functions. You're busy throughout. So you just want to be very sure that you're looking the part. Even as you're dressing people, you don't want to be thinking at the back of my mind is how is my nail looking, even when they're taking those photos or then inviting you for an interview. You do not want to not to show up just because probably your nails are not done. So invest in that. And when it comes to makeup, learn to wear makeup, even if it's light makeup, especially for women, but also men as well. You can do something very, very slight, because you find that when it comes to campaign, you as a candidate, you probably have your photography team, and so they're taking photos, so you want them to be taking good photos. But in addition to that, your opponents or even other aspirants who are vying for other seats also have their photographers, and you'll find that in events they will be taking your photos, whether intentionally or unintentionally. If you sit next to another candidate who was a photographer, when their photographer will be taking photos, it is of course inevitable that even your photo will be taken. And of course, they're going to post these photos in their social media pages. So you want that even as they're posting their photos, your image looks good. And so people, if their followers, when their followers will be looking at these images and they're looking at you and they're like, hey, and so who is that neat person who is next to our candidate? And that can help you. As they're posting, they also share with you. And so there is cross posting. So make sure that you always look your best. And when you see a photographer in front of you, just pose and smile. It helps to take very good photos. We want to look at comfort and practicability. First, you want to invest in good shoes and comfortable shoes, because in campaign you'll find yourself probably you started campaigning in the morning and campaigns will run into the night. So you see the way having comfortable shoes is very important. Again, you may find yourself doing the door-to-door strategy. That means you're walking alone a lot. Sorry, that comfortable shoes will be important. In addition to that, the inevitables may happen during the campaign. You may find yourself running. You may find yourself having to climb a podium, or your security team may have to whisk you somewhere very fast. You want your shoes to comply and to assist you when you're doing this. Another thing you want to think about is as a woman, you want to think about your mobility and modesty, and even men. So you want to avoid just wearing things that are very, very tight, or things that are see me through. But let me give an example that is very applicable to women. You're going for a rally, you will be at the dais. Remember, a dais is raised, so you're stepping up here, but supporters are down here. So they're looking at you through this angle, and so you see, if they're looking at you through this angle, and you're not wearing something inside, they are able to see your things that they are not supposed to see. Let me use those words, and that can leave you in a very funny situation, considering we're in the day and age of technology and phones. So they could be taking photos or video from this particular angle, so they could take things that are not very decent. So you want to invest in wearing something like a tight, even if you're wearing a long dress, but inside it you're wearing also a tight. And if in the unfortunate event that there's a security scare and you have to run and maybe your clothes are torn, you'll find that even when your outer clothes are torn, the tights and what you're wearing inside will help you. At least they'll still be protecting you. So have that at the back of your mind. You also want to think to be weather ready. As I said, you may start campaigning in the morning. In the morning, it could be cold. During the day, it could be hot. At night, it could be cold again, or cold and very extremely cold. So you want to have all those outfits. If you have a car and you can carry all that, that is good. So carry all those categories. But if you're doing maybe door to door, you also want to budget and think, how then do I carry the extra clothes? How do I carry the extra maybe sweater or jacket? Yes. Again, you want to think about your security, and you want to think have clothes that are very very comfortable. Again, you want to wear clothes that fit you well, and have comfortable material that complement your body. And just don't take this very lightly. There has been an aspirant in Kenya who trended and made funny memes just because they were wearing some oversized coat, and you see, and it made a headline for the wrong reason. So just make sure that your clothes fit well, and you're comfortable in that, even the material. Again, the other thing you want to do is have a variety of clothes in your closet. Okay, so we are in an African setup, as I'd said, so have a lot of African wear, but please have it at the back of your mind. African wears do not come cheap. By the time you get the material and it's stitched and sewed into an outfit, it is a bit costly. So I want to advise you to start early and have a variety, because you will always have to wear them in one way or the other. But as I said, have a variety of outfits. So you want to have formal outfits for TV interviews. You want to think about rallies. So in the rallies, you want to have something that is semi-formal. African wear can work here. But you also, as I said, you want to think about party colors. So have a variety. Again, you are likely to attend very many funerals. Funerals give fodder to politicians and give a platform where people are able to talk. So you and of course, funerals are associated with black, so you want to have a lot of black outfits. Again, you want to think about sporty events, things like marathons, like that. So you want to have a set of sporty outfits if you have to attend functions like that. There are going to be definitely dinners and galas. You want to have that again in your closet. You want to also think about having religious outfits. For example, there are churches that wear certain religious outfits, maybe a white only, and they wear it from head to toe. So you want to have it and have it in good time. And because these things also they require time to be sewn and to be made, and they come at a cost, start early and have variety. You'll find that some people wear white, some people wear blue, some people wear purple, some people wear red. So just have that. So do as when you're doing your research of the churches that are around your place, or the religious institutions, the most common ones, and you think that you're going to visit them, also budget and have these outfits early. We're in the day and age of themed events. You find that it's a white only function, it's a black only, black with a taste of gold. um, Yes, so for those ones that are common, you can just buy and have them ready. Like white only is very, very common. So just have a variety of those white only. But of course, inevitably, you'll meet those colors that are usually different, like lime green, something like that. So those ones, as and when they arise, you will be able to address that. You want to think about photography and image. Of course, part of how you look is just investing in quality photography. So just have a few photos where you go take professional photos and high quality photos, and photos, good photos sell. People like to see that, and they sell. And as I said, it is your photo that will be against your name on the ballot paper. So you want to invest in that. Again, you want to practice the habit of smiling. As I said, if you see a photographer in front of you, just smile so that they're able to take good photos, and when they're posting, good photos sell. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to think about accessories. We are talking about earrings, watches, cufflinks, belts, scarves, and ties. All these are things that complement your image, but as I've said, they're supposed to complement, not disrupt. So invest in them, have a variety, but let them not take away attention. For example, very big earrings in the African setup may not work for you if you're going to the grassroots levels to to meet the people at the grassroots level. Again, small things like socks. Yes, socks. Just have think about it and buy neat ones. Yes, we've seen politicians trend because of having, yes, torn socks. And so you do not want to be wearing a very nice looking suit, and when it comes to your socks, it's not looking good. So some of those small things that you may overlook may end up making you trend for the very wrong reason. For women, you want to think about just having one good handbag, a quality handbag, but a good one. Why? Keeping to changing handbags today, tomorrow is something that is going to inconvenience you. You may end up leaving other documents in that other handbag, and then you need it in today for this function. So just have one quality handbag and just use it so that at all times you have all your documents, all the things that you need in one particular place. You want to think about your hygiene and freshness. As I said, you have started campaigning in the morning, in the evening, you're still required to go for another function. You probably do not have a place to take a quick shower. So you want to think about things like, investing in a cologne. But if you're doing that, please have it mild. Yeah, keep it at the back of your mind that you'll be interacting with many people, and some people have sinuses, some people are asthmatic, so you don't want to be the aspirant who's again aggravating the situation for your supporters. So wear it light. Again, you want to have deodorants and bath sprays. You want to carry wipes and small towel to refreshen in between events, so you can go to the bathroom if you have a towel and just do freshen up, and if you have a deodorant and a mouth spray, that will help you look fresh. Again, you want your skin to and your body to look healthy. So in as much as your diet will be affected during campaigns, try to eat well, but over and above that, drink a lot of water. Just drink a lot of water so that you stay hydrated. And if you can protect your skin with things like sunscreen, we in Africa, sunlight is a blessing to us. So you want to take care of yourself, and if your skin looks good, it inspires confidence, and if you feel good inside, you will definitely ooze it and look like so on the outside. You want to look at things like body language and presentation. Yes, this is part of your image. How do you posture? How do you stand? When you're speaking, what is how do you stand? How do you hold the microphone? Do you hold it at the bottom, in the middle? Do you hold it going up? Do you hold it near your mouth, away from you? These are things that you want to practice early, and there are so many other channels that are educating on this. So take time and make sure you learn these things in good time, so that at that time it will help you when you are posturing yourself. You also want to think about eye contact. How do you have eye contact with your voters and with the people who you're speaking to? Things like handshake. How do you have a firm handshake, and how do you stand when you're shaking the hands of somebody else? Remember, those are the times when usually photos are taken. So it is very important that you're doing it the right way. The other thing you want to think about is table manners. So you'll often eat in public, and so you want to practice proper etiquette. How are you going to hold your spoon? How are you going to hold your fork? How are you going to, the different courses of the meal? Which one do you start with? How does it go? You want to do this early. You don't want to find yourself in a high profile meeting and you don't have this information, or you're not acting in a proper way. So take your time. There's so many channels out there that are training on this and on the online space. So also just spare your time and make sure you have equipped yourself with this information. But as Linda Ogweno Show, we're also going to do our very best to see into it that all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed. The other thing you want to think about is your stage presence. So you're going to learn how to stand. You want to learn how to wave. You want to learn how to pose for photos. All these things are important when it comes to your image. So these little things build or break your image. You also want to think about the image of your family. For example, if you'll be vying as an aspirant, your partner, if they join you in your campaign, you also their image also reflects yours. So you want to invest of also how they're going to look and how they're going to dress, and it also has to be consistent. It has to be appropriate, and this also affects even your children and even close relatives of yours who are going to be in the campaign trail, and even some of your campaign members. So it's very important for you to consider this. The other thing you want to think about is a budget. You want to have all these things budgeted for. Uh, Please also watch the episode where we talked about campaign budget, because it's very important that you budget for all these things. You budget for your clothes, you budget for a stylist if you can afford somebody who's just going to help you in what to wear. But in the event you can't afford a stylist, the other thing you can do is maybe look for a reliable vendor who can source for you quality outfits very quickly. You also want to think about social media. There are so many affordable designers and tailors on the online space that you are able to tap onto, and you can easily get that support. You Again, the other thing you want to think about is maybe if there's somebody within your community who is able to do this. You find that maybe there's a local designer who is able to help you maybe tailor an outfit. You may want to support them. This will help you in buying the community buy-in. You also want to think about feedback and adaptability. What are people talking about you on the online space, and just the researchers that you had who are going to find out more about your campaign. So what feedback are they giving you? What are people saying as far as your dressing is concerned? And quickly make sure you take in this feedback and take the corrective measures. You find that sometimes you may even get a nickname, yes, just from the way you're dressing. And Kenya has a very good example of a politician who was got a nickname from just what they were wearing. And it is very easy to acquire a nickname, but it is not very easy for you to shed it off. So this is very, very important. Above all, you want to just remain authentic. There is only one you. For example, there's only one Linda Ogweno. So be authentic to yourself and be true to yourself. Voters also have a way of just sniffing out people who are not authentic. They can just do it. So just be yourself and be true to yourself. Because this particular show is guided by biblical principles, allow me to read for you the words of Psalms 139 verse 14, which says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful and I know that full well. And so the book of Psalms through David is reminding us, and David was just being happy because God has fearfully and wonderfully made him. And even so, even you as a candidate, I want to remind you that you're fearfully and wonderfully made. Clothes and these accessories, these are things that just accentuate and just bring out make it better, but already the work has been done. And David goes ahead to tell us that God's works are wonderful, and he knows that too well. So even you as a candidate, know it in at the bottom of your heart that God's work are wonderful and you're the work of God, so you are wonderful. And know this in your heart, so that no matter what somebody comes to tell you out there, know it in your heart that you're already fearfully and wonderfully made. I want to appreciate you for watching this particular episode. I also want to welcome you to watch the other episodes and look out for the next episode of the Linda Ogweno Show, and also watch it. For those who have not liked or have not subscribed, please do so, and remember to share with other aspirants as well. And even if you're not going to be a political aspirant, but you're going to be active in the political space, or even if you're just going to be a voter, this information is very important for you. So keep tuning in. Thank you once again, and bye bye.